There's only 3 ways you will come home AIDS positive from prison if you didn't go in there with it already. 1, someone took your shit. 2, you took someone's shit. Or 3, you were sexually active. For this video here, I'm gonna be telling y'all about an inmate that caught AIDS while serving a life sentence down here in the state of Florida.
Hold down, man, suitcase this, my cell phone and my charger don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see your ass, you gon' leave airlifted.
What's up, everybody? You already know, man. Kfrogtv back in the building. Y'all go ahead and hit that like, subscribe button like I say every time, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Also, make sure your bell is placed on all and not personalized, therefore you get notified for all videos and not just some of them, okay? For this video, I'm gonna be go ahead and speaking on an individual that I came across while I was incarcerated down here in the state of Florida, and he goes by the name Gucci, all right? Gucci was a black inmate that I ran across while I was at Charlotte CI, all right? I was in E-dorm, E2 to be exact, and you know, he ended up messing with a sissy while he was incarcerated. He was one of these people that ended up, you know, catching some time. He caught a life sentence. And the crazy thing is with him catching a life sentence, he caught it when he was a juvenile. So he had been in there probably 20-something years already, but they just changed the law not that long ago to where you can no longer give a juvenile a life sentence. You feel me? So there's a lot of people around the state that are appealing their sentence in their bid just due to them changing the laws of that, because there is a lot of people down here in the state of Florida that are serving elbows, which is a life sentence, that they got when they was a juvenile, okay? Now, Gucci, when I first got put in E2, he wasn't, you know, I guess you could say he wasn't, you know, positive. That I know of, you feel me? But anyways, he was a hustler. Everyone in the dorm knew who he was. Everyone knew that, you know, no matter what you needed, he could find, no matter what it was. You feel me? All the way from phones, Tunchi, Bacco, anything you need, he was able to find, you know, and he was one of the people that everyone, you know, was associated with. Me, I never really said too many words to him. I knew who he was. I knew what cell he stayed in. Like I said, we was in the same quad. You feel me? The most me and him ever probably said to each other was like, hey, hold that door. You know, when they pop the door and people go to run across the compound, or they pop the door for chow or medical, once you let the door slam, whoever else needed to go out there is out of luck. Them officers 9 times out of 10 will not repop them doors. So, you know, the respectful thing is to hold the door for the next person. You feel me? Make sure there's no more people coming before you let the door slam. So the most me and him ever said was, you know, hey, hold that door, or you feel me? Or, oh, you need some cigarettes or something? You feel me? Like trying to see if I wanted to buy shit, you know, stuff like that. But I used to see him at Vizzo a lot. You know, like when I would go to visitation, I'd see him at visitation. You know, he had his baby mama there and his kids. He'd be kissing all on his baby mama. He'd be hanging out with his kids, which are grown now, and all this shit. And in my mind, I used to look at it like, damn, that dude right there, bro, is over here kissing all up on this woman, and you feel me? And hanging out with his kids and shit, and I know for a fact none of them know that he has him a boyfriend. You know, he has him a sissy, you feel me, that he messes with. And the way he messed with the sissy was like crazy, because you would literally like see them holding each other, you feel me? Like things that you know aren't normal to see, you know. You'll walk up the stairs, and when you walk up the stairs, his door was right where the stairs were. When you walk up them stairs, you can't help but to see from your, you know, your peripheral vision as you go this way. And you'd see him in there hugging this boy like he a motherfucking female. You know what I'm saying? Walk around the compound holding hands and shit. Real deal romance inside the chain gang between 2 dudes, all right? And I've told a little bit about this inmate before, you know, threw it out there, you know, different things and shit like that. But I'm gonna break it down and give y'all the whole rundown of, you know, how he ended up catching AIDS while he was in there. Y'all already know he was sexually active, okay? And like I said in the intro, there's only so many ways that you can go to prison not positive and come home positive. You feel me? And a lot of dudes end up doing that, you know, whether they got took or took some shit that didn't belong to them, or whether, you know, they were sexually active, which means they were voluntarily, and so was the person they were doing it with was voluntarily, you know, to, you get what I'm saying. I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can for the guidelines of YouTube. All right, so a lot of dudes come home from prison like that, and they give that shit to women. You feel me? And then women will end up catching it from a dude, and then they'll think that this dude was messing with females since he been home, that they ain't been faithful. In all reality, no, he caught that shit when he was in prison from another man. You see what I'm saying? And then now that girl's got it, and then, you know, it spreads and shit, you know, and some people, you know, that can get away with it at Vizzo, you know, or you know, can actually cram and smash, you know, their female and shit behind officers' backs, and the way that things set up and how things go down while you're incarcerated, you feel me? Because anything's possible. Everything goes down everywhere, you feel me? Some dudes will catch some shit from a dude inside of their cell and then go to Vizzo and get up in their old lady and shit, pay the guard or whatever they do, and give her the shit like that. And she would never think that it came from that, because you don't know if in her mind she was out there messing with dudes, especially if her man done been in there 20-something years, you know. So in her mind, another guy gave it to her. She's not thinking the one dude in prison gave it to her, because she ain't thinking he's in there smashing other dudes. You feel me? So Gucci had this little punk or whatever that, you know, they had in the dorm and shit, and he had pool with the officers. No matter where the punk would go, Gucci would always walk across the compound with bags of canteen, paying to have that sissy moved from one side of the compound back into the quad we were in. You feel me? And, you know, the way it is down here in Florida, I can't speak for everywhere else, but down here in Florida, you mind your own business. You get what I'm saying? If you got a dude that's messing with another dude and you're in the same dorm as him, it ain't your job, or it ain't your duty to question that or to say something about it, or, you know what I'm saying? It isn't your job, and people get killed like that. You feel me? People are willing to die behind they sissy. Straight like that. So you're gonna be like, oh man, get that queer shit out of here, bro, man. We won't la 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 la. Like, a lot of people in the comments will think and say that that's what they will do, but in all reality, they want it. Not down here in the state of Florida, at least. You know what I'm saying? Because people literally get flipped behind that. And I'm gonna be bringing some more stories to y'all about shit going down between sissies, knife fights, and different things that happened while I was at Charlotte CI, to let y'all know that it really does go down. You feel me? That's why people always say mind your business in prison, because just because that man's messing with that man, if you ain't the one associating with them and you ain't the one that's in the middle of the love triangle or anything like that, then it's none of your business. You let them do whatever the hell they do. You just know how you rock and how you live, and you keep that shit away from you. That's just how it is. You feel me? So after a while, after Gucci ended up getting, you know, the dude moved back into his quad and this shit like that, you feel me? You know, they would fight and shit a lot, and they fights would, like, you know, it would just catch your attention, because it would, like, get the whole dorm's attention. Like, the sissy would lock herself in the cell, and then Gucci would be trying to yell at him through the door, like, baby, open the door. Open the door, baby. Why you got all these people looking at me, baby? Why you got all this? You know, talking to her like it's a female. You got all the other inmates laughing and shit. I was on the phone with my old girl one time. I'm like, this shit's crazy in here, mom. She like, why? I said, man, you fucking sissy and this other dude beefing and shit. You feel me? She like, a sissy. And I gave her the whole rundown and was telling her, yeah, they beefing and shit. And, well, what ended up happening is, you know, Gucci was known for messing with multiple sissies before this one he ended up being with. You feel me? By the time I got to that camp, you know, I guess he had been there for years already. You know, so people knew about him at different camps and everything. Each camp he would go to, he always had a sissy. Like, he wasn't one of them dudes that hid it from nobody. You know, like, a lot of people were undercovers. You know, a lot of people, street dudes, people that are gangsters, people that literally, like, have a face card on the streets, got rank on the streets, that no one would ever think or suspect. You feel me? Be undercover messing with, you know, sissies, because they can't make it through their bid without their hormones getting the best of them and shit, and they end up falling short. They let it get the best of them, and then they fuck around and they end up being on the other side of the fence. Once you're on the other side of the fence, there ain't no going back. Like, a woman can mess with a girl and a guy, and then they're considered bi. Okay? A man, it ain't happening. Now, you can't say, oh, I'm bi, I mess with guys and girls. Nah, bro, you gay. That's simple. There ain't no way to. It don't matter if you did it one time and then never, all females the rest of your life, bro. You're still gay. There's no way around that. You feel me? So there's a lot of undercovers in there as well. But Gucci wasn't like that. You see what I'm saying? People knew of him from everywhere for messing with sissies. That's what he did. You feel me? But it was just mind blowing that I would see his loved ones at Vizzo. You know, I guarantee you his baby mama doesn't think that, you know, he's in here messing with a man when she leaves. She done rode out with him for 20-something years. You feel me? If she knew that, she probably would have been fucking skirt. You know, his kids, You know, go there and look your kids in the eyes and shit and be talking to your kids man to man because they grown now. You think they know their dad in there fucking with another dude? No, not at all. You feel me? Well, after so many sissies, Gucci ended up becoming positive. You feel me? He ended up catching that shit, that ninja, that die slow, that shit you don't want nothing to do with. You feel me? And he ended up giving it to the sissy who was in our quad. And they got in a big fight or whatever one morning. The whole dorm got woken up from the officers coming in there and all types of shit. It was all loud, like the same shit you see on the stage when you see Jerry Springer. That same loudness and shit and the whole crowd's watching, that's exactly what everyone was doing today inside this quad. You feel me? And the sissy that, you know, he was messing with at that time ended up cutting Gucci in the face. He cut Gucci in the face and was like, man, he gave me that shit. Da 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 da. He gave me that shit. The nigga gave me AIDS. Da 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 da. Fuck ass nigga. Da da da. Like selling out. And the whole dorm was like, nah. And then he was like, fuck you ho. Fuck you ho. Da da da. Pussy hoe. Like talking to the sissy like it was a female. So he ended up giving that shit to the sissy, which means 9 times out of 10 he was probably messing with another sissy. You know, that sissy ended up getting tested or whatever, and it came back that he was positive. So if Gucci was the only person he was messing with, then that's who he got it from. And through it all, after that shit ended up happening, you know, the sissy didn't want nothing to do with Gucci no more, and they ended up parting ways. Like that sissy got moved out of our dorm, you know what I'm saying? Well, he actually got in trouble for cutting Gucci and shit like that, but Gucci didn't get transferred after that. Gucci ended up coming back on the compound and everything, because they don't always transfer you when you get cut. That's the thing about Charlotte, is you could still be in harm's way. Someone could cut you and you go in the box. That doesn't mean your ass get transferred. That means you could just be back there healing up, and they're gonna put your ass right back on the compound against the people who already wet you. And they'll be like, okay, boom. He thinks this shit's a game, when really you don't think it's a game. It's just these officers didn't transfer you. You feel me? It's like you're playing with your own life. All right, well, we got him and that ain't enough, but now we're gonna do even worse damage than the first time. So Gucci had a scar right here. You feel me? When he, like the last time I seen him, you feel me? He wasn't in E dorm no more. He got moved to a different dorm. But every time I'd see him on the compound, he had a scar right here across his face from that sissy, you know? And ain't no telling what he probably told his loved ones, you feel me? His kids and old lady and all that. He probably said that he got in a scuffle with like 5 dudes and one of them cut him in the face, so he wet the other ones up. Because in prison, you're gonna hear a lot of war stories. You're gonna hear a lot of bullshit. I heard it from people before I even went to prison. You feel me? All the stories and different shit that people used to tell me before I went to prison, I used to look at them like, boy, them some crazy ass stories. And then you'd go to prison and you would see them same type of people who do say all that shit. 9 times out of 10, you'll see people that remind you of them, that act just like them or carry themselves like them. And then you see what happens to those people. So you know the person that was telling you stories from the get-go was bullshit. Or you'll run across someone in there that told you a shitload of stories in the county jail, how prison was, what they were doing in prison, or on the streets they were telling you, oh boy, in the chain gang, I was doing this, doing that. And then you'll run into them in prison and you'll see they're totally different than the way that they were acting. Oh, so you were doing all that and you were that type of dude that time, but now you're not like that? Then you know that was all bullshit that they were feeding me. You feel me? And it was crazy to me because, like I said in other videos, they got signs everywhere. You feel me? Which are like rape signs and stuff. They tell you to call and report it if anything. But a lot of people always want to know, is it really like that? Are people really taken 24/7? It does happen, but it doesn't always have to happen, because like I said also in prior videos, there's enough sissies in there giving that shit up. People are fighting and dying and wetting people up over boys. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. They call it boy pussy. That's what they call it in there. You got dudes fighting over boy pussy. This dude right here is fucked up about that boy. This dude's fucked up about that boy. That boy's running from him to him. They're running back and forth like something you see inside of a fucking soap opera. And then they get tired of it, and then boys end up, you know, getting involved and stuff. Which I'll be throwing more videos out there speaking on this type of shit to let y'all know that don't get it twisted, bro. Just because someone's a sissy, don't think they won't rock. You feel me? Because I've seen plenty of sissies in there, bro, that will try to take your life. Ones that are really down to rock out by all means. And when I was a juvenile, I was in a juvenile program, and one of the hardest bumping fucking people on the compound was a sissy, was beating the dog shit out of people. So some of them would be bumping, you know what I'm saying? Some of them literally know how to bump, you know? So Gucci ended up catching that shit or whatever, and, you know, he got wet behind the whole situation, you know? And it's crazy because that's another thing. When you're incarcerated, you don't know who you were around, you understand? Like, you don't know what it could lead to. You can get in an altercation with someone who is positive, And you know what I'm saying? And you never know. That's why it's always dangerous to get into it with someone. Some people in prison will not fight without gloves on, which are just the doctor gloves that are gonna end up tearing right here. Once you connect in a punch, they're gonna end up busting the gloves open. But some people won't fight without gloves. Some people won't fight without a weapon, because you never know what that person you're getting into it with has. You never know what type of sickening or disease they may be carrying. You feel me? And me personally, I'm not gonna fight no sissy at all. Literally, a sissy could call me out and everything. I'm not gonna fight no sissy. I'm not gonna get in there with the paint with no sissy or any of that. You feel me? That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I'll grab the broom though and beat the dog shit out of them with a broom. You feel me? Because now I got a little bit of range in between me and them. You see, that's just me though. My personal opinion, how I would do it. You know what I'm saying? And I know it ain't just the state of Florida, but down here in Florida, some of them sissies are bumping. Boy, you might get in there, boy, think you know some shit, and now you get knocked out by someone that's a sissy, bro. So now it look like, boy, you got knocked out by a fucking wannabe female, bro. This person act like a female, bro, and knocked you out, bro. You feel me? So, like, I'd never want to fight a sissy, bro. Like, I would not get in there with no sissy, bro, but I will beat the dog shit out of them with something. Just, I'm only saying that because you never know if they're carrying something. You get what I'm saying? I'd rather be cautious. You feel me? And Gucci ended up catching that shit, gave it to this sissy, got wet up behind it. And what do you think he did when he got out of the box and was put in a different dorm? What do y'all think he did? He didn't go after that sissy. He didn't try to get the sissy for doing that. He looked at it like he was heartbroken. Like him and that sissy fell out kind of like you and a female would. He'd look at him like with heartbroken glossy eyes and turn his head and shit and then go find another victim, another sissy to mess with. And then when other sissies would come, that sissy would try to tell that sissy, stay away from this dude Gucci over there because he caught that shit and gave it to me. I used to mess with Gucci and this and that. So, you know, like would put it all in the ears of all the other sissies. And then that's when Gucci would make a scene. He made a scene in front of the chow hall one time and started arguing with the sissy, telling him, you feel me, keep my name out your mouth, this and that, because the other sissy basically cock blocked on Gucci, because another sissy ended up coming to that compound, and then I guess he put the word in and that sissy wanted to stay away from Gucci. You feel me? So it's crazy because you got diseases that do go around, not just in prison, on the streets as well. You feel me? But if you know someone that goes to prison and they are not positive and they come home positive, it can only be those three things I just told you. Either they took something, which means they was up inside, you know what I'm saying? Or either they got took by someone, which means they fell victim and someone ended up busting them open, or they were sexually active. That means they got up inside some shit that they had no business playing with. They should have never been in there. You feel me? Those are the three ways that someone literally can come home with AIDS. You feel me? And like I said, Gucci was serving a life sentence, you know? So a lot of people probably look at it, you know, that probably wouldn't mess with sissies on their own. Well, what do you expect? The man had a life sentence. Yeah, I mean, but I don't care if I had a life sentence. If I had a life sentence, bro, I'm not falling victim like that. You know what I'm saying? Boy, that's what these shits are for. You feel me? Switch hands, make it feel like you're switching bitches. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Or pull a female officer. Or pay for, you know, a conjugal visit with a bitch. You know, like there's way more other ways around it, you know? And due to the fact that they changed the laws to where juveniles can now appeal it and can't get a life sentence, he's most likely gonna come home. Because since he got sentenced so long ago, he's not up under the 85% that it is down here in Florida. Which means he wasn't getting 10 days of game time a month. He was getting 20. He done been in there 20-something years. All that shit gonna add up. So then when they take the life sentence from him, they're gonna be like, all right, well, we sentenced you to 40 years. He been in there 20-something years, minus all the game time from the old system that he was sentenced under, all that shit. That boy probably come home in less than 2 years right now. By the time he gives the time back is what I'm saying. Which, you know, I've been out over 3 years now, so I don't really know what the fuck's going on, obviously. But that's how it is. A lot of people still be like, damn, bro, that's still 40 years you gotta do, bro. You ain't there. But the way the systems broke down and the way that they give you 20 days a month on the old sentencing guidelines and shit before I even got incarcerated. This is how it was back in the day. Since he's been in there so long, he falls under that. So out of 40 years, he probably would have to do like 20-something. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 30. And he done been in there almost 30 as it is. You get what I'm saying? And he gonna come home sick. And what do you think he's gonna do? You think he's gonna get out and he's not gonna be sexually active now? No, he's gonna get out and start giving it to people. He might get out and start messing with punks, some sissies on the streets. He's like, fuck it, you know what I'm saying? But regardless, he's gonna be giving it to them. He gonna be spreading that shit around and giving it to them. He been gone and locked up that long. There's no way possible when he gets out, he ain't gonna try to fuck something. You see? And it's the people like that that have no shame in their game. People like that they only think of themselves. Because you know it's a charge if you know you're positive and you go sleeping with people. Those are charges. Those are considered bodies. If you look it up, they can hit your ass with a murder charge for knowing that you have it, knowing you're positive and giving it to someone else. You feel me? But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video on up. Word of the wise, man. You ever come across a little skinny black dude named Gucci with a scar right here down here in the state of Florida? Don't give him no signs now. Don't look at him too long. Don't lick your lips when you're talking to him, or none of that, because he gonna be on your trail. You feel me? But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this one on up, y'all. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like, subscribe button. Keep them square snakes, rats, and clowns out of your motherfucking circle. And until next time, y'all, this Frog.